Music was played a lot in my house, in my dad's house.
Yes.
Are you ready? Are you capable? Are you able to compete on those levels? Hey, talker! Boo! Boo! Stay strong. Find what can bring you peace.
Thank you guys for joining us. My name is Nancy Wanjiru Kabiru and I'm a psychologist with Hisia Psychology Consultants. And today we have a guest with us. We would like to address the issues Kenyan artists or people in the creative industry face. And we have none other than Michael Kennedy Claver, popularly known as Naiboi. He is a singer, a songwriter, a recording artist, and a record label CEO. So he grooms upcoming artists and he's gifted in what he does. Karibu sana, Naiboi.
Asante sana.
Yeah. When did you realize you were gifted as an artist? What informs your decisions in music?
I fell in love with music for maybe late 90s, 97, 98 there. Then in the early 2000s, that's when I hit the studio. But music was played a lot in my house, in my dad's house.
Yes.
So the influence was there.
Yes.
I just didn't know that this is the journey I want to choose.
Yes.
But then came along, what can I call it? Realization that I can actually do it. And this happened when the magazines za kitambo zilikuwa na pages where they had lyrics.
Yeah.
So if there's a song, mostly rap and R&B music, on a Sunday you'll get them on the newspaper. So I used to go check them out and try and sing along, and then sometimes rewrite some using the same melodies. And that was so interesting to me that I can use my own melody, my own words on their melodies.
Oh, wow.
And then I remember I had like a small radio recording tape that we used to record ourselves and listen, me and my friends in the mtaa, and listen to how it sounds. And that was just fascinating for me, and that's how I got into it.
And how has the journey been for you?
The journey has been real. The journey that I chose and my fellow artists have chosen is like kuuza vegetables, ama kuuza manguo, ama just owning a shop. You can't force a customer to come to your shop when there are so many shops around. So what will make a customer skip this shop and come to you? Or watanunua maziwa hapa lakini mkate lazima watoe kwako. Yani that's how it is, and that's so difficult for many artists or many creatives, because you go through frustration of how do I impress these people better than this guy every day. So it's too much pressure. Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And that's sound advice from Naiboi. He has had his fair share of challenges as he's gone on past the years in the music industry. And I know that you didn't wake up one day and became a singer. That journey of the transition between producing to songwriting to now being the singer, what informed that? And what can you tell a young person who is stuck to one way of doing things?
When we first went to record my first song in a studio, that was back in 2003.
Yes.
We found it very expensive. I think we were charged 3,500, and
that's a lot of money
back
then.
in the day.
Yes.
And can you imagine being passionate about something? So when you're passionate about it, it means you want to do it over and over again, and just spending 3,500 over and over again, depending on your parents to give it to you back in the day, that's a lot. So when I did my first song, I just talked to the producer and asked how much is the software, since I had a small computer in the house. So we got the softwares, and now I could produce my own music in my bedroom in my house, and that would mean multiple songs would be recorded. It started as me being an artist and just lack of money and the frustration getting the software and starting my own studio to record for myself, to me now being a producer recording for some other people. So initially I was an artist. Lack of money made me produce for myself.
What he's telling you as a young artist or an artist who is struggling is that so long as there are frustrations around your way, you need to think creatively, outside the box. see how else or how you can be a resource to yourself rather than using the resources from other people to build on your dream or your gift. What's your advice to someone who does not take what they have seriously?
Let me say, like, coming from where I'm coming from, or the times that we're coming from, this generation of ours, is support. Support is very important, and you find there are so many people who are very talented, but the expectations of the parents will not allow them to pursue their dreams. So you'll find someone is really talented, maybe in sports, but expectation is they should be doctors. So you'll find that ataenda up kuwa daktari but atakuwa frustrated because heart yake iko somewhere else, and that's one of the big problems that we had. And we have, I think, and lucky enough for me, my dad was very supportive and supported the whole journey. And I think hiyo ndio one of the reasons, like you're saying, utapata mtu ana juggle so many things and anaweka muziki kando, because for a very long time music has never been taken serious as a career in this country. And I want to give a shout out to the president for Juicy saying he's giving money to the sector, which means now if the government is present in the sector, it means parents will see, okay, if the president is saying he's putting aside this money for that sector, it means it's a serious thing. So guys can actually be supported by the parents to pursue their dreams when it comes to music and entertainment and sports.
I love that. As a parent out there, you have children or your children are grown. Try and accept what their choice of career, because those are the things they do effortlessly, but they can build their livelihoods off. Lack of support will cause distress, causing someone to have mental health issues, and we want to address this so that we can have a mentally stable society. Sometimes artists are deemed as though they are making poor decisions. And even as you said, lack of support. When you say you want to be an artist, then someone thinks that it's a poor decision. So what can you tell an artist if you've become famous and you are trying to live as per the standard of the social media? What's your advice to such a person?
The expectations are always there. Like if you're an artist, they expect you to drive certain cars, maybe live in a specific place or wear clothes, etc. The expectations will always be there. So it's up to you to know, are you ready? Are you capable? Are you able to compete on those levels? If you're not, don't put yourself in such situations. Like, for example, myself, I remember there's a time when I used to wake up and the first thing I do is go on social media. And when you open your social media in the morning, you see maybe your fellow artist, one has bought a car, one bought a house, one is performing in the States doing his tour, one is doing this, and now you look at yourself and like, I've been here for all this time and I've not achieved maybe even a quarter of what these other guys are achieving, and that's too much pressure for an artist, because the fan base is the same. The fans who are looking at these guys buying houses and doing all this stuff, also the fans you are expecting to look up to you and respect you. So that will also lead to pressure. So what I did was just unfollow people on my social media. So when I wake up, when I open my social media, all I see is me. So I'm a competition. I go with my own pace, and that keeps me sane. And that's how.
So you set your own standards.
Just set your own standards. Just know expectations will always be there. Once you've decided you're an artist, competition, expectation, etc., they'll always be there. But it's up to you to decide where you can play your game.
Have you faced rejection in the past?
There's a time I went to perform in Moi University, I think in Eldoret. I used to work with an artist called Kendrezi. He had a big song at that time when it was Tichi. That was like a big song. So when we were working with him, when he was going on his tour, he took me. So when we went to perform, he started. So in the middle of the performance, before he performed this big song, he decided, since now I have the people's attention, let me bring Naiboi on stage. And remember, people don't know I'm around. So people know the next song that is coming is the big song. So when I stepped on stage, hey, Toka, boo, boo. Now he's trying to introduce me, but the the hall is so noisy that what he's saying can't be heard.
Yeah.
And all I did, I went on stage and I performed and left because I'd seen a documentary, like I was telling you before. I always do my research. I'd seen a documentary. There's a producer in the States called Didi. Like he said, there's a time you can go perform for a crowd, and the crowd, there's no guarantee that they'll feel you all the time. But there's always that one person. He might not know you, but he's curious enough and he'll pay attention to try and understand what you're doing. That's where you take your energy from. And the second time that I can't call it rejection, but it was such a sad moment for me is when my dad, like I said, he used to support me. But since my journey was too long,
it took time?
Like, remember, we started in 2003.
Yes.
My first major breakout came in 2014.
Wow, that's
so this, like, you can imagine being in his shoes, like he's a parent who's saying, okay, I've tried to support my son all this time, nothing is happening. I feel like maybe he should change his career, do something else. Because he's also getting pressure from his cousins and brothers. Look, like, your son is wasting his life. So one day sat my brother down, and they told me, you know, we've supported you for a long time, and we feel like it's time you changed. I believed my day is coming, and the only person that I knew will ride and die with me is sitting you down and telling you it's time for you to pack up. Let's try something else. That was the most depressing thing and the saddest moment in my career, in my life. But I didn't listen. I said, you know what, maybe I believe more than you guys do. And I kept on.
You pursued.
Yes.
And now he's happy?
Very happy.
I would like also to know, because there are those sad moments, but what are your highlights or best moments in your music career?
When you finally hear your song being played on radio, you hear yourself for the first time. That's an amazing one. And doing my tour in the States. Because remember, I always say my name Naiboi worldwide, and guys used to ridicule me too much on the comments, like, why are you calling yourself worldwide? You only gone to Kakamega. So when finally I did my so when I finally did my tour, now there's nothing you can tell me. I've been around the world. I've been to Sydney. I've been to over 25 states in the US.
Oh, lovely.
So as in,
lovely.
When you speak it to the world, it may just happen. So that's also a moment in my life that I'm very happy about when it comes to my music career.
In your opinion, what are the issues commonly stressing artists?
Financial pressure as number one, then lack of support as number two, and of course rejection and lack of support from people around you. I think that's just it.
What do you think most musicians and professionals in the industry, why do you think they shy away from seeking professional mental health support? Because you've talked of pressure, you've talked of anxiety, you've talked of lack of money, you've talked of rejection. All these are issues that affect mental health issues, but very few people come forward seeking support from a professional.
I think maybe what I can say about it, or how I see it, it's just judgment. I don't think people like being judged. So, and the embarrassment that comes with the judgment, like, kwani umechizi, how people will look at you. So people just keep it inside and try to deal with it the best way they can. I think that's the reason why people won't come out, or because you don't want your people to look at you differently because you say, me, I'm going through this and this and this. Or maybe as an artist, the picture that you put out there is you own this, you own this, you own this, and maybe you don't own it now that it's no longer there, so you can't come out and say it because of the embarrassment.
But I as a mental health practitioner also go through therapy. There's nobody who doesn't face struggles in everyday life. And you know, statistics say 1 in every 4 people suffer mental health challenges. It is an issue we need to destigmatize. And when you go for professional help, the psychologist or the counselor will not go talking of who they met
Yes.
and what issues you're suffering.
Yeah.
So it is important to seek this so that you can recenter your mind, relax, and be able to address the bigger picture, which is now growing yourself from that struggle. And I'm happy because through this gift or music industry, I have now met you, and you're one person who I know so many people look out to. So do you have any last words?
Like you're saying, during this time, I know the depression levels are striking high. People just don't know. Because can you imagine you're depending on this rent to come, on this money to come on this day for you to pay your rent, your school fees, your ABCD, then it doesn't show up. Then you're told, okay, let's wait for 21 days. On the 20th day we're adding 21 days, then extension, then it's so depression. Men or guys are depressed from the art to just other businesses. I know the depression levels are very high. I just pray guys to just stay strong, find what can bring you peace, and if you can go seek professional like Hisia guys here. Come to talk to someone. Just find a way to talk to someone to express yourself, because that's what people are really afraid of. Usipime mwanaume, the way it starts with someone has a rope on my neck, then when the camera pans, it's people laughing at me, and that's embarrassment that men are afraid of. They don't want to come out and talk. So just find for the small groups where you can express yourself and where you won't feel like you'll be judged, and just
So as he said, Hisia and Naiboi are offering some programs. Be on the lookout, follow our social media, and you will definitely benefit from that. Let your talent continue growing, because as you build on it, then you become more successful and it becomes more fulfilling. But if you face a challenge and you're not able to overcome, then you're not able to build on what you feel you're gifted in. So I'm happy for that. Before we go, you've mentioned the Usipime Mwanaume, and it's one of the songs that drew me closer to you. And I felt I have to meet this person because he's so gifted. What are the struggles now generally you think men are facing?
It's how we've been brought up. Man is the king of the house, so man shall not cry, man shall not have emotions, man shall keep a smiling face 24/7 for man to be respected. And I feel like that's too much pressure on the man. A man is still a human being. A man has emotions. A man has ups and downs. And there's so many things that that the men are facing, from finance to the rest. And in our society, the focus has been so much on the girl child, which it's allowed because seeing where the women are coming from in our culture, Africa, we understand that the women need to be given the priority. But at the same time, do not neglect the men, because the men are still humans. Because if, like how I see it, man, head of the house. If the head of the house is depressed, trust me, it trickles down to the whole family, and that brings all the dramas and depressions in the family. And and if the man can't get an outlet to express and just take it out of the system, they'll end up taking their lives.
Would we say it's being a man? Like we can say you're a man. You're still a man when you cry, when you express your heart. It doesn't mean you're any less of a man. So it's okay. Then we need to.
That's what I'm saying. Man is human. Man should cry. Man should be happy when the situations are okay. Man should be sad when it's a sad moment. Man is still a human being. If they find a way of talking, because when you go to your friends to express what you're going through, they'll always say the advice that they always give is, I know what you're going through. And that's wrong. You don't know what I'm going through. You should be talking to someone who says, I don't know, you tell me what you're going through, let's see how we can help you. And that's the biggest problem that I think, because every time you're talking to your friend, Maze, I'm going through this, you don't know. They shut you down. Which means he's gone through it, so you won't express yourself, because you're like, okay, so we are two of us. But if he said, I don't know what you're going through, but just tell me, opens a field where you can now express yourself, take it out of the system, and
So we should, as a society, be more open,
be more open,
accommodative, and
accommodative,
listening.
Listen.
Yes.
Anybody who's going through mental health, anataka tu asikizwe. Anataka, let him take it out of the system. Anataka asikizwe.
And we are here to offer you that listening. Be on the lookout, because there is a project I know Naiboi will be doing to empower the young men in conjunction with Hisia to help uplift the man. As he said, the suicide cases were very high around that time he produced the music, and I am a victim. I lost my brother. We are a few months apart, not even a year. And I know it is because of those struggles. So let us lend more listening ears and see what we can employ to be able to build a more stronger society, because a man is part of the system. Without supporting this man, then the system is not functioning. So let's make the system function. Asante sana.
Thank you so much for having me.
Karibu.
Asante.
Okay.